Hey Yorba Linda, have you been thinking of buying a fixer-upper and that way you can update it to the style that you like? Or do you currently own a home that needs a little bit of a refresh and again, you want something that's going to fit exactly what you're looking for versus what the last person put in? Then today's episode is for you. So today I am sitting down with Almas and she is the owner of Makkan Design. So we're going to talk about a bunch of things, including a little bit about her, how she came up with the idea and some of the struggles involved creating this business that she has now. And then we're going to go over exactly what she has to offer so you can get to know a little bit more about the process involved and if it's going to be a good fit for you. So again, if you've been thinking of updating your home and you want something unique you're not going to find anywhere else, then you're not going to want to miss today's episode. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. So today I am here with Almas from Makkan Design. So Almas, thank you so much for coming out today, or actually inviting me to this beautiful center of yours. So
thank you so much for coming. It's an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely. So the first thing I always like to ask is I want the community to get to know you a little bit. So before you created this whole studio, can you kind of go through a little bit about your background and kind of what got you here?
Yeah, sure. So I was born in Inglewood, raised in Garden Grove. I moved to Yorba Linda when I got married about 15 years ago. Okay. And I actually studied apparel design. I really wanted to be a fashion designer. So I did my undergraduate at Cal Poly. And then I started working in the business and I just felt like it wasn't for me. Like something was missing. So I actually tried to start my own interior design company. Before having any experience. Okay. And it failed.
It's always hard to go straight into it, yeah.
Yeah. So after I had my first child, I was sitting at home and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. But I realized like within 3 months it wasn't for me. Okay. So after I had my first daughter, I went back to school and I went to Chapman University to get a master's degree. In leadership in interior design. Okay. And so it was a great balance because that allowed me to be with my child, but then escape and, use my mind and learn. And so when I graduated from Chapman, one of my professors gave me my first job. Okay. And so I redid his house. It was more like a paint job and paint color selection. Okay. Things of that nature. And so from there, I still continued and I still, again, kept trying to do it on my own, but I felt like I lacked a lot of experience. Yeah. So then I went and got a job. Okay. So I was lucky to land a job for the developers and the major builders for, that are here. Mm-hmm. And when I gained so much experience and it was so valuable. So I worked there for many years. And then after my third child, I was kind of ready. I had enough experience and I wanted like a work-life balance. So it's like, okay, let me try again. Let me start again. So I started again at that point. And I really did it so I can have, be with my kids and work a little. But then the opposite happened. And then the Makkan Design just went, blew up. Yeah. So then I was working, more hours than I was, at the company. But it was great. And then from there, I would say like 5 years later, now I'm able to have a balance again with my family.
Always figuring out. It's a constant struggle back and forth.
Exactly.
And that. So when you first started, you went through that whole process and you were kind of going through. Was there anything as you're going through, obviously with the first time you did it, kind of had less experience in terms of going through that now. What was some of the hardest parts, and were you kind of thinking of maybe I should just kind of give this up and find something else, or what kind of got you through that to continue going on to get to a point where you're owning your own business?
I just felt like, first of all, I have a great husband who was supporting me in all of this, and he just kept encouraging me, and my aunt as well, and they just saw something in me, and they just kept saying, this passion is rare. Yeah. Like if you are way too passionate to not have your own business and to do this. And so they were, they really motivated me and drove me to follow my passion, follow my dreams. And really at the end of the day, I just wanted to be a designer. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was fashion or interior, that was my purpose in life. And I think I just kept pushing and pushing, and I failed so many times. And, you know, I had so many people tell me not to do this and don't fall, you know, it's a waste of time. You should stay at home with your children. This is, you know, going to real estate. Don't be a designer. There's more money there, yada, yada, yada. And I just think that that love that my husband gave me kept me on track. And I just kept going. I just kept going, and I just kept trying. And, you know, there was times where I would be at job sites cleaning. Just because someone didn't show up. I would be scrubbing things, and like at some point I'm like, wow, if someone saw me doing all this, it would be humiliating. But in the back of my head, I just had something to prove to myself, and I just kept going.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty common trait with any entrepreneur is that you have to have the confidence in yourself and basically tune everything else out. So having that support at home is always very helpful.
100%.
And if you can do it after having 3 kids and then starting the business, which is probably one of the hardest things to do, is after you're having the kids, you're trying to go through and trying to have that balance, and then starting a business at the same time can be very chaotic. So
for sure. And, you know, I think education also had a definite impact on my career, because I would say when I studied design, I was still in my box. I was still a very shy, introverted designer. I think that for me, when I went to Chapman University, that they really, really opened me up. And after that, I was able to articulate my designs and speak confidently about them to the public. Like, that really was a shifting point in my life, I've learned.
So before we get into the business side of things, when you're not dealing with the business, what do you like to do outside of the business? If you have any time.
I have 3 beautiful children and a wonderful husband, and I like to spend as much time as possible. They're young, they're growing, and they inspire me. And I just want to, you know, I love being in nature, inspires me. I like stepping away. But then at the flip side, I also love, you know, fancy places and, you know, exploring new venues, things like that. And I have an amazing social group as well. So I have amazing friends that, you know, make me laugh every time I'm with them. So I love seeing them as well.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and get into the business side. So can you tell me, for anybody that's never heard of your business at all, can you let them know, if they walk in here, what type of customer are you looking for, and what do you actually do here?
Great. Yeah, great question. So we're a full service interior design firm. So when a client comes in here, they should expect to, you know, go through a full design process. And what that means is we do architectural CAD drawings, you know, with AutoCAD. We create mood boards, vision boards for our clients. We create samples. We curate samples. We present that to our clients. Once we curate the samples and the client approves it, we do a 3D rendering. After that, the design would be completed, things are signed off, and then they have the option to do construction through us as well.
And so going through that process, is that something that usually takes a few days, a few weeks? What can someone expect kind of from start to when a project starts? Or start of talking to you to say when the project starts, what does that timeline typically look like?
Well, if all goes well, a typical kitchen design should take about 3 weeks, 4 weeks sometimes. Depends. So we're not tied to any specific vendor. So when we get a client, every job is different. So we will source materials from wherever we need to. So sometimes that takes a while to get them into our office, look at them, approve them before even presenting. And then the layouts, we want to go through a few revisions to make sure our customers are 100% satisfied and it's feasible. So about 3 to 4 weeks for a kitchen design. Of course, if there's more involved, if it's a full house, we're looking at about 2 to 3 months for design services only.
And then when customers come in, what is the method that you kind of use to go through to get to know them, figure out exactly what they want? Because everybody has different styles. And oftentimes, and what I see in my industry is also the wife and the husband might want completely different things. How do you kind of go about meshing that together and getting something that everybody's going to enjoy in their home?
Well, my very first step is to go to their home.
Okay.
I feel people are comfortable in their space rather than coming to a design center and with this. It could be intimidating or uncomfortable. So my very first step is called a consultation, where I go to their house and I learn about them. And at that point, I'm not just learning about their aesthetics. I'm learning about who they are, their background, their culture, how long they've lived at the house, how long they're planning on living there, how many children, are they old, are they young? So I take, this conversation may be, seemingly very simple for the client, but for me, it's extremely important because for me, design is not just about aesthetics. It's really about giving that client what they need in that time of their life.
Yeah, and it's always a difficult thing to look at because it's someone's house. So that's where they're going to be spending most of their time. You want to make sure you get it right on there.
Exactly.
So
it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we respect that. It's their money and it's a privilege to use their money to design their space. So I want to make sure I'm giving them the most for their money.
Okay. And so would you say kitchens are kind of the most common thing you do, or what is usually the most common type of projects that you're working on within the company right now?
Normally it's a full house, but I always start with kitchen because I feel like it's the heart. It's the place where majority of the times the family is united. So we kind of start with that and then branch out to the rest of the house.
Okay. And then if someone did want to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
They can call our number here, 714-340-0054. They can email us at create@makkandesign.com. They can walk in if they're in the area. But yeah, we want to meet you. We want to see you. So yeah, any of those ways are a good way to get in touch with us.
Okay, perfect. So whether it's like just a kitchen design or a bathroom design or the entire house, that's something you pretty much cover here.
Yeah, we take a range, and usually we have about 10 projects going on at the same time.
Okay.
However, they're not all full home remodels. That would be not possible, so we have to have a balance.
Okay.
So we'll take some smaller jobs, some larger jobs at the same time.
Okay. Okay, so another question I have is, what is your ideal client? So someone walking in, who is kind of perfect for your specific type of design?
Well, we get a lot of customers, but I would say the perfect client would be someone that's open to us completely designing their space and using the best materials money can buy right now. We really like natural stone here, and finding, unique products globally. So that type, that client that's open to really one-of-a-kind designs that you won't find anywhere else. That's the creme de la creme for us. That's what we're looking for.
Okay. And then kind of going along with that, in terms of trending right now, is there anything that you're seeing that a lot of people are maybe just starting to catch on to that people should start considering if they are thinking of putting a whole new space in their house? Right now, from my end, I see a lot when I'm touring places that have remodeled and in new buildings, I see a lot of texture. So I see like wallpaper has texture. I see that the tiles, they have texture now. Everything is a little more texturized, but I want to kind of hear from you on your end. What are some of the things that you kind of see coming down the pipeline that people should be kind of paying attention to?
Yeah, well, currently there's a lot of neutrals. We're back at beiges, off-whites, brown. The gray is no longer in style.
Yeah.
And within that, though, there is a lot of textures, like you pointed on. It's just layers and layers. It creates that depth that we're looking for. It's not just a simple blank palette. That's, too simple. That's more like apartment style. So within residences, you want layers and different materials juxtaposed, so that way it gives like an ambiance and a really tranquil environment. For example, this is also like this reeded look is everywhere. You got to be careful though. You don't want to do it everywhere because I feel like it is a trend. Slot walls, reeded. So you have to be careful, and that's why you'd hire us to kind of know where to put it. Something like this is just a coffee table. We can get rid of it. It's not up to a wall. So you have to be careful with these trends for sure.
Makes sense. And then the final question that I always like to ask is, why Yorba Linda? So why did you decide to open this inside Yorba Linda?
Well, I'm a long-term resident and I'm not moving. So it's very convenient as a mom and business owner to be able to go to my children's school, pick them up when I need to, and not lose that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, family is the most important thing. So I definitely need to be in close proximity with them.
Got it. Okay, well, you heard that here. So if you're thinking of doing any type of remodel and you need some help, you don't know where to start, this is definitely a great place to go. So it's located right next to Monarch 9 Cafe. Come check them out. You can have a conversation. The consultation is free. Is that correct? Or is
If
that
they come
have
here,
to come in here? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you come inside, you can talk to her and you can kind of get the process rolling and figure out exactly what you want to do with your next remodel. So thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And then everybody at home, until next week, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye, everybody.